Hello, everybody, and this is week 2 in our consecutive Technology Fridays, and this time it's about this feature called Corkboard, which there's a site called www.corkboard.me, and I'm going to show you all about that today. Okay, so the big question, what is it and what is it good for? Because we all know that we've sat in on enough technology, professional development days sometimes, and somebody's thrown something out at you, or let's just say any type of professional development. Our big thing is that we ask ourselves, well, what is this good for? And another thing that we need to think about is, how can I adapt this to my classroom? So first of all, what is corkboard.me? It's an online corkboard. So just as what you might have seen sometimes, how people might have almost like a billboard in their house that's got the sponge or the cork on it, and they kind of stick the tacks on into it. That's essentially what we have here, but it's an online version. So, gee, what is it good for? That's our big question. If we think about it, teachers have tons of responsibilities to take care of. So if we think about it, they can help keep track of the responsibilities at home or at school. If you have this online corkboard, here it is. You could remind yourself, oh yeah, that's right, I have to have grades in by such and such date. Oh yeah, don't forget, you have to show up kind of early because you'll have to set up for a meeting, different things like that. I also think it's another great way to kind of communicate with the staff. Maybe, for example, we have all now been trained in capturing kids' hearts. Well, what if we use this as our affirmation board? Along with getting out and maybe starting to do some peer observations of each other, what if we used our corkboard as an affirmation board to say positive things about each other and what we saw? But I know before, because I'm doing my educational technology master's degree, when I thought about student uses, I was thinking before about, well, gee, if a school didn't have something like a Moodle or a Blackboard or some other type of interactive website, what if you used corkboard.me as a way that they could collaborate with their classmates? And so I thought, that would be actually pretty cool. And of course, somebody's going to say, well, gee, how could you record what somebody said, so on and so forth? Well, if you set a guideline that if somebody was to post something up there, if everybody had theirs in the spot, you could then take a screenshot, which is basically a picture of what's going on the computer, and save it for your own purposes. Then you could see how many posts they put up and different things like that, and grade them accordingly. When can you use it? Now, this is the awesome thing. Anytime and anywhere. Basically, corkboard.me is on the internet, so as long as you've signed up for this site and you have a specific board code, you can access this corkboard. And you can have it so that when you have your actual generated corkboard, your corkboard code, okay, your specific URL, which is just if you were to go and type in, like everybody knows, if you go to www.facebook.com, it goes right to that site. Well, you get www.corkboard.me, but then there's another specific code after the backslash. It'll go to your board every time. Same thing with your students. But it is set up so it's specifically only able to be accessed by those people. No strangers can have access to that board. But if somebody wanted to share maybe some of the stuff that was really interesting and cool, like for example, I could share our corkboard that was of affirmations and different things like that, or different things we were doing. I could post that or share that with the KTC Facebook page, or I could share that on Pete's Twitter for KTC. But it's actually really cool. But I think the big thing is, it's heading towards us it just gives us a possible implementation or a tool so that we can say that we have universal design of learning, which I know a lot of people don't understand that, but it's just saying basically that you could have access, just open access to education and help anytime, anywhere, any place, anyhow. Which is also what Governor Snyder has been talking about as well, just kind of having education being more open. I also think about this site as being a way that a teacher could actually get some input from their students on how to make their class better, or if they didn't understand something. And you could use that anonymity to actually help some of those kids that are afraid of repercussions, to help them out. Some positives of Corkboard.me. Okay, you can reposition your post if you think that the allotted space is too small. You can zoom in and you can zoom out, so it's easier for viewing or for more space when you're posting. You can change your sticky note color, which, oh gosh, I know probably a lot of our kids and a lot of younger kids will love that. You can also share images through this as well, and there's actually a lot more capabilities if you sign up for the service as well. Like they're talking interactive chat and things, which I started noticing that today. I haven't even signed up and put in my credit card number or anything like that, and it's actually giving me a chat function, but it's really cool. I kept thinking, like I told you before, that this would be great for student discussions. If a student responds to a lesson, it could remain anonymous. So maybe they're going to say, oh, well, I really loved the way that you kind of had us looking at how to learn adjectives today. I really liked how we got up and were moving around the room, that type of thing, instead of them having to raise their hand and do it. Because we all know that these kids right now, they're looking for acceptance. And so if they say that they got into a lesson, okay, well, first thing, somebody's probably going to jump on them because, oh, what are you, a dork? Okay, but this is going to be so beneficial that they can still speak their mind. So here's just a snapshot of what comes up on my screen. If I was to go to the regular just Corkboard.me pricing site, so it's $5 per user per month. As you see, they do give you a 30-day trial, but if you do sign up for that, okay, unlimited boards, it does update in real time. So if I was to type something right now, it comes up and it changes. It's password protected. You can share images and documents, which I think is awesome. Unlimited storage. You can chat with your team, and when they say export to right here where it says export to CSV, that is just basically taking all the complicated text you might see, making it so that it all ends up in one line for the different post-it notes, so that you can then have it in an Excel form for yourself, and it's all separated by commas. So if it was Ford F-150 2002, all those three identifiers would be separated by commas. Okay, so we're going to get ourselves going here. Okay, so here's the Corkboard. Now, I know with Screencast-O-Matic, it kind of makes it a little bit complicated, but okay, so as I told you before, if you don't like the screen how it is before, or you need more space, let's say that people have just really cluttered this whole thing with post-it notes, if you just hold on it and you move it to whatever direction, you get more space. It's kind of like a never-ending corkboard. As I told you about the zoom in, zoom out feature, I'm zooming out and I'm zooming in. As you also see, there is the interactive chat function is right here. If I was to click on it, I could say, hello there, and it comes up, and I could start collaborating with my team or start discussing with my team. Something else that's on here, there is a board overview button in the bottom right. See, if Screencast Magic only gives me so much space, so I'm sorry that you cannot see this. But there's also user settings. But also down in the bottom right, you see a little post-it pad, and it comes up and it gives you different options. I'm going to post a post-it note right here. Okay, and let's say, for example, I'm a teacher, and I want the kids to use this as a response board. So I'm going to say, in yesterday's lesson, what was your favorite activity, and how did it help you learn the topic better? Okay, so that is, and let's say I say, okay, well, this is Miss Weber. This is her question to all of you. Okay, so let's say little Susie, she wants to use a bright pink post-it note. She responds over here, which, if you notice, you can move the post-it notes, okay? And you can get rid of them as well and all that good stuff. But okay, so what if she said, I really liked, I won't do that. I really liked how you connected it to a real life situation. Then she could come down here and just say Susie, you know, just type in her name. But that way it could be that that the teacher would know exactly who said it. Now the student wouldn't necessarily have to put their name up, and I know some people are saying, oh my gosh, well, what if they write something negative, like, oh, this sucked today? You know, just know your students. If you know that there are some that really do not have that control, I wouldn't recommend having this be anonymous. I wouldn't even recommend using it. But the whole thing is, we've been through training now that we should all know our students. I mean, they're more than just a face in the crowd. We should know at least some stuff about them, or at least how they interact. So let's use this accordingly. Okay? But also, it's a good way to bring up the nets and the mets. How to appropriately use our technology. So we're almost done. Okay, so here's the last slide. Possible downsides to this, okay? It is not free. And you know, this is something that could happen. The internet could go down, so you do lose access. Some other student downsides, okay, maybe you can't respond. Maybe they can't respond at home due to not having internet, okay? I wouldn't recommend saying respond on Corkboard.me as a homework assignment. If notes stay anonymous, then the tracking of negative comments may not be possible. But basically, get to know your students. And if we're all trained in capturing kids' hearts now, then we also have a positive atmosphere in our classroom where the students are not negative, and they know that we're going to hold them accountable if they are negative to somebody else. But it's also, just like I said, a great time to teach the national and state technology use standards, which are NETs and METs, about how to be an appropriate person on the internet, what to post, what not to post, and just behaving like a responsible adult. So thank you for sitting in on this today. I would recommend that if you want to learn how to start doing this, that you set up individual appointment times with me, and I would love to sit down and help you with it. Just make sure you set it up, and then that we keep that time, and hopefully you enjoyed this today, and have a great day.